What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we've got a Chicago Bulls and Washington Wizards game reaction in which the Chicago Bulls came close once again, but due to a Kyle Kuzma fadeaway three-point shot, the Bulls suffer a loss, as well as Zach LaVine's very questionable shot towards the end of the game. We're going to be talking about this game a lot more in detail in this video. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls overall game today. Who is your player of the game? Your thoughts and opinions on how the game was played overall. We lost this game 97-100. Again, the Kyle Kuzma fadeaway three. Look, at the end of the day, that's a ridiculously tough shot from Kyle Kuzma. You have to give respect where it's due. That was his first three-point shot of the night, and that's the shot that he makes. And big time players made big time plays, and Kyle Kuzma delivered for the Washington Wizards on that play. For the Bulls side of things, again, I'm not very happy with this performance overall, and I'll give you some reasons why, but I want to quickly talk about the final shot. I have no idea what play was ran during that final shot. I don't really know why Zach LaVine went to the mid-range to try and shoot. I understand maybe he was trying to get a take foul and get an easier shot, but at the same time, there was no foul called. Zach LaVine probably should have went for a three. Unfortunately, things don't go our way. Not necessarily the best shot towards the end of the game. The foul wasn't given either. Whatever the case may be, blame whoever you need to blame. The Bulls lose this game. And the real question is, why was this game as close as it was heading into the fourth quarter? We were up by 16 points in this game by the second quarter, and we let it flush away very quickly. And then we let Washington pretty much get a 9-point lead and stuff like that, and we had to fight back. This is the typical Bulls performance that you saw at the start of the year. What you saw in this game was the start of the year Chicago Bulls, where you have one or two great quarters and then you let them come back in the third and the fourth quarter, and we have to fight to try and win the game. That's exactly what we saw in this game. Now granted, we didn't have DeMar DeRozan, but that is absolutely no excuse. Washington didn't have Porzingis, did not have Bradley Beal either. Two of their best players out for this game. They had Taj Gibson starting, and they did not even have a backup center to really fill in for Taj Gibson. So at the end of the day, everything was in our favor. We had the mismatch opportunities in our favor. We had obviously two of our star players playing in this game. We had a relatively healthy bench as well, and we could not get the job done. The only person I believe did not play this game is obviously DeMar and Javonte Green. That's not good enough from this Bulls team. You had the advantages in every single way, and you let this game slip. It's another wasted opportunity by the Chicago Bulls team. Now let's get started on what they did wrong. One, offensive rebounding. Once again, a huge problem for the Chicago Bulls team. I find it astonishing that a team like the Washington Wizards, whose center is Taj Gibson, a 37-year-old, to be fair, played solidly well in this game, especially in the first quarter, doesn't have a backup center, are still out-hustling us, still grabbing offensive rebounds, still creating second chance opportunities, and everything in between. How is that, I guess, anything beyond acceptable? That's not acceptable, ladies and gentlemen. And the fact of the matter is, that's really poor, and this team should be ashamed of themselves for letting that happen. They're not fighting hard enough. How could they not fight when they've been showing so much heart in the last couple of games? Yes, I know this game was close, and they did show heart to fight back in the game, but 3 quarters of this game, we're giving up offensive rebounds, and that's not good enough from this Bulls team. And I just can't believe that's the situation that we have, knowing who we face today. Porzingis' 7'3" frame was not there in the paint getting offensive rebounds like he's good at, or getting defensive rebounds either, which he's good at, or blocking shots, which he's good at. There wasn't a 7'3" guy there, ladies and gentlemen. So what's our excuse for not getting offensive rebounds today? The whole team should be ashamed of themselves for allowing that to happen. And again, as I always say, the team that gets the most shots in the game will most likely win the game. It's really as simple as that. And the amount of second chance opportunities and offensive rebounds that we gave is just not acceptable by this Bulls team. Number 2, the points in the paint. In the first half, we were dominating in points in the paint, and we should. We got Vucevic, we got Drummond, we got Zach LaVine. They don't have shot blockers. We've got guys that can slash to the basket like Ayo as well, and we really did well in the points in the paint category. Now, if I'm not mistaken, by the end of the game, Washington had more points in the paint than the Chicago Bulls did. So they clearly made the adjustments that they needed to make to win this game, and the Bulls did not, because we referred to the three-point shot, we referred to really bad shot selections, and we did not go back into the paint like we should have. And what we saw in the fourth quarter for a little bit is when we did go into the paint, that's where it worked. Simple as that. Yes, Zach LaVine made an amazing three-point shot to tie the game, but our success was in the paint, and we could not get the job done in that instance. And by the way, not everything is, by me saying going into the paint, not everything is about getting it to Vooch in the paint. You have guards that are very good slashers on this team. For a team that's not necessarily the best at the three-point line, you got Coby White, who's a very solid slasher. Zach LaVine, who was pretty much slashing all game. Yes, you got Vooch in the post. You have Drummond that can get offensive rebounds. You got Derrick Jones, a very, very good athletic player. We have enough in terms of players and the depth of the team to attack the basket on a regular basis. And I don't think we did a good enough job compared to Washington, who had most of their guys out. So again, very, very upsetting in that retrospect as well. I kind of already mentioned it, but I thought our shot selection in total was very, very bad. What I didn't like about the second half is I thought this team went extremely stagnant. With LaVine in the team and with LaVine out of the team, this team was extremely stagnant. The worst part is, when LaVine was out of the game and you had guys like Goran Dragic and Coby White, they're the main guys for offense, because we basically had an all-bench lineup out there, which is something I really hate about this Bulls team when they do that. We created no offense because you don't have that guy that creates that much pressure to actually get double teams and whatnot. So our offense was very stagnant in this game, especially in the second half. So you got to give credit to Washington for making those adjustments and making this Bulls team stagnant, because you don't just get stagnant like that. You got the adjustments that had to be made, and Washington made them, and the Bulls did not make counter adjustments, and we ended up losing this game because of it. So again, very, very frustrating performance overall. Disappointing to see this Bulls team waste an opportunity like this. Again, we just came off at one of our hardest schedules in our season, realistically, and we walked away from it very, very positively. The loss to the Celtics, you can excuse it because DeMar went down in that game. This game, I don't see an excuse that is actually viable for this Chicago Bulls team. This is a wasted opportunity. This is a team that we should have beaten, and we ended up losing, and we have no one to blame but ourselves. I'm not blaming the refs for this loss. I'm not blaming anybody else for this loss. I'm blaming the Bulls themselves for this performance and for this loss. They went away once again with what works, and it hurt them at the end of the day. Simple as that. No other excuse needed. The Bulls, very, very disappointing. And again, another opportunity has slipped under our grasp. I don't know what it is. It's been a big problem all season, losing to lower caliber teams. Especially this team that's injured. They have most of their guys injured. Yeah, we could beat the elite teams very, very well. I don't know why we're so inconsistent against the mediocre teams. And until we can figure that out, because we have a fairly, I guess, light schedule coming up for the Bulls right now. If we can't seem to figure out how we can consistently beat mediocre teams, or consistently beat teams that don't have players that are actually available to play, and we still lose to these guys, then how are we ever going to get to the playoffs? How are we even going to get to 500 like this? So you've got to make sure you beat these teams. Now again, we've come off a good stretch. I'm not going to say trade everybody or anything like that. It's not that time right now. But if you're saying this loss is acceptable, I'm sorry, it's not. It is not an acceptable loss for this Bulls team when we had most of our guys ready to play, and simply put, the Washington Wizards did not. That's all I'm going to say. Put it this way, if it was Zach LaVine alone, and let's just say DeMar and Vucevic were out for this game, maybe this loss would be a little bit more acceptable. But when you have two of your big three available to play, and you have most of your bench available to play, and Washington did not, that's no excuse in my opinion. Fair play to Washington. It was a great performance from them, and they deserved the win. It was a tough shot. I think in terms of letting Kyle Kuzma shoot that shot, you let him shoot that shot all day. In my opinion, at least, because he's only made one. He didn't make a three the entire game, and he took a fadeaway three with basically two people around him. Look, it's a tough shot. You've got to give him respect from that. I don't really know what else to say. So yeah, it's just unfortunate that happened. Maybe we could have ended up sending this game to overtime if a different play was run. I do blame Billy Donovan for just not running late plays for this team. It's basically give the ball to Zach, let him shoot his shot. Give the ball to DeMar, let him shoot his shot. There's very, very, very rarely you see an actual play called to get someone open. Even if it's not Zach LaVine, get somebody open. We don't do that enough. It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. We got to move on. The must improve for me is easily going to be Andre Drummond. Look, at the end of the day, there are a couple of guys I can give this award to for sure. But Andre Drummond comes into this game in the second quarter, gets 4 fouls extremely early, only 2 rebounds in this game. And at the end of the day, as the backup center of this team, we really needed him. Again, we had the size advantage. All Andre Drummond needed to do is not foul that often. And some of the fouls were extremely preventable. So I think this is an easy choice for Andre Drummond. And again, I'm not surprised he didn't play that many minutes today because he was hurting us more than he was helping us. Simple as that. The player of the game is Zach LaVine, 38 points today, completely went to waste. Yes, the last shot of the game, a lot of people will question Zach for why he took a mid-range. I can understand the concept behind it. I just don't think it was the right shot, in all honesty. But at the same time, this game should have never been to the last shot. We had the opportunities to end this game and we did not. We let a team come back and they won the game because of that. We were up by 16 points. Do not let people forget that. We were up by 16 points and we let this game slip away. That is no one to blame but ourselves for that. We let that slip away. The Chicago Bulls, the bench, the starters, they all let it slip away, and it's a very terrible, terrible loss for the Bulls. That's all you can really say on the situation. In saying that, the dreaded 4-game below 500 mark has returned for the Chicago Bulls. We are 19-23, and our next game is going to be against the OKC Thunder at home. Again, another team that you would see the Chicago Bulls be as the favorites, but obviously that is a big problem for this team right now. It's the mediocre teams that seem to get to us all season, and OKC, look, they're a team that has an all-star caliber player on their team for sure, and their team is very young, and obviously they're going to try very hard. But we are the favorites to win this game, just like we were the favorites to win this game against Washington. We've got to find a way to do this consistently. We've got to beat OKC in my eyes. If we waste another game just to a team that we should be beating, I don't know how this Bulls team can progress in that instance. Yes, beat the Bucks all you like, beat the Boston Celtics all you like, beat the Brooklyn Nets all you like, beat Philly all you like, but if you can't beat OKC and you can't beat Washington without 2 of their best players, you can't beat Minnesota without 2 of their best players, you can't beat again, if we verse the Warriors without Steph Curry, if you can't beat them without Steph Curry, at the end of the day, there are too many opportunities that are going to be wasted for this team. So you've got to find your consistency, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to find your ability to find a way to win against the lower caliber teams and do not play to your opponent's level. If you can do that, this team is on the up and up. I believe so. I really believe it. If they can find that next step, they are on the up and up and they can be an above 500 team. But it's up to them. They have to do it. They have to show it. Wait and see if they can. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you in the next Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.